Let me tell you a lie. Quitters never win and winners never quit. Now, it's not absolutely wrong because there's some truth to maybe the quitters never winning, but winners definitely quit. They just figure out how to do it at the right time, for the right reasons. They learn to do it quickly, efficiently, decisively. That's the biggest difference here. Winners learn how to quit properly. We're going to put it that way. So make no mistake about it. If you're going to end a business, it is way harder to change and start going in a different direction than it is to stay with the status quo. And it's doubly hard to change, especially on our brain. We would much rather stick with where we are and stick with what we're doing. And you add to it, especially if it's your business, you add to it identity, you put in your ego in there, and all of a sudden our little business is enters the zone very quickly of wishful thinking. And we love to exist inside that realm because who knows what can happen there. It reminds me of a story I read about an entrepreneur who actually started and built 12 different companies over the course of a period of time, obviously. And every single one of them, he quit, got rid of, started over. Why is that a big deal? Because he's a winner, but he's quitting all the time. Why is that a big deal? Because number 13, that company sold for $100 million. And it would have never been possible if he hung on to any of his ego in any of those other ones. Knowing when to quit, it's not just for entrepreneurs, not just for business, obviously. There's other things it can apply. It obviously applies to relationships. It can apply to committees you're on. It can apply to school board meetings, church involvement, multiple things that go on inside your community. It's just knowing what you're doing and when you're doing it. You ask yourself a simple question. If I cut bait and I put all of my energy, all my efforts into something else, would I get a better return on money, on time, on enjoyment? And if that answer is yes, you're done. Do not be like everybody else. Do the things that most can't, which is not chase after shadows and not throw good money after bad on top of it. Reminds me of the Brian Tracy test. He does a 90-day test for basically of life, especially in business. And his adage is, especially after you start something new or do something new, is that you look back 90 days. So you start something, you go out 90 days, you stop, you assess, and you look backwards. If you knew then what you know now, so you assess what's going on over 90 days, would you still make the same decision 90 days ago that you'd made if you knew then what you know now? The answer is no. Done. Cut bait, move on. Do not continue in the losses. It helps you stay nimble, moving. You make better decisions that way. It keeps you moving forward. So, easy way of living life, that's for sure. So, on close, let's look at, there's a few other lies that we can go into as well, because you have things like better safe than sorry, or because it's not always better to be safe. There are plenty of times in life where sitting back and trying to be safe actually is the worst decision you can possibly make. Or slow and steady wins the race. It's not about the slow. Everybody thinks that you have to go slow and think things through. And I think of the squirrel in the middle of the road that can't make a decision. He ends up flat. you gotta move something. It's the steady, being consistent, going through it. How about can't teach an old dog new tricks? And yet, this guy's just like me, sitting out there every single day, going, I can learn new tricks, and I'm an old dog.